back to the program here, the weekend preview for Los Alamitos Racecourse, LosAlamitosRacecourse.com, and also on our YouTube page and all your social channels. You can catch this show. Thank you to all the viewers, week in and week out. We got some good feedback. We got some good feedback because the man joining me on set here, well, via TV, internet here, Mike Wrona. Not only you're doing a great job of calling the races, but you're in a good role here, giving us plenty of winners in the last few weeks.
Well, thank you very much, Jose. Yeah, it's been fun. I think it's 5 winners and a second now from the last 6 weeks. By the way, the only horse that did not win in the sequence was I'm a Sixy Man, who finished second when I picked him and came out to win last weekend at Next Asking. So he was a next out winner. And it's been 3 straight first-time starters in the 2-year-old ranks. And, well, let's just ride the wave. I know it's cyclical. I know that there could be a despairing run of outs just around the corner, but got to enjoy it while it lasts.
Yes, we've had these up and downs even through the last season. We had nice streaks going on, and then we get a little bit of a low. Everything evens out, but let's ride the wave while we're at it. Before we get to this week's selection, by the way, I saw a photo of you and your mother during our FanDuel broadcast celebrating Mother's Day. I saw a photo of you and your lovely mom, and there was Winks in the background. I can't help but notice you have Winks on a Winks shirt on today.
Well, yes, mate. Thanks for noticing. It's not coincidental because I was thinking back to how wonderful that was of the FanDuel TV production staff to request photos of everyone's mum. And there were some lovely shots of your family, and they put up a photo of my mother and myself at a Royal Randwick Racecourse in Sydney in March of 2019, a bit over 4 years ago. And Winks was parading in the background before one of her incredible wins. So that was a real memorable day for my mother and for me. We're from Brisbane. Winks never raced in... Well, she did actually. Very, very early on, Winks did race in Brisbane. But the only time Mum got to see her was that particular day when we went to Randwick in Sydney. And Kathy was with us. She took the photo. And there it was popping up on the FanDuel TV screen on Sunday night. So just thought I'd better trot out a Winks T-shirt to keep that theme going.
I like it. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Shout out to Kathy, our photographer there. We got to give her credit for that photo she took of you and your mom. Happy late Mother's Day to all the mothers and all the mother figures there as we celebrated them last weekend. Before we get to the selection for this week and try to keep that streak going, any thoughts about the kindergarten? What a race it was. Any takeaways from that race on your vantage point?
I thought it was a fairly cleanly run race overall. Most of the horses had their chance and full marks to Double Down 1, 2, 3 and trainer Monte Arosa, who's pulled off a marvellous feat of winning the race 3 years in a row. And for part owner Randy Young, it's the same hat trick of kindergarten wins, all with fillies. So what an exciting band of broodmares Randy is accumulating. And Double Down 1, 2, 3 was able to just out-finish the favourite, Racy Sweet Corona, who ran terrific, came up only a head or so short. The horse I was interested in as somewhat of a value play, Just a Fooler, was third last early, hit the line stronger than anything to finish fourth, was strongest on the gallop out. So I can't imagine that Just a Fooler will be a maiden much longer. And as the distances increase deeper into the season, he'll be even more formidable.
Yeah, and I think the main takeaway from that specific runner is that he wants more distance based on his last few starts that we've seen from him. Now, the question is, Michael, the Edward Millie Futurity trials are just a week away from our recording. We're recording this for the weekend of May 20th. So the weekend of May 28th, actually Sunday, May 28th, will be the trials for the Edward Millie. So we're just 2 short weeks away from the final of the kindergarten towards the trials of the Edward Millie. And usually we don't get a lot of wheelbacks immediately off of the final. Maybe someone from trials that didn't exude a lot of energy. So I'm going to be very interested to see who wheels back. But just on a horse that really wants more distance, I think out of that kindergarten, Just a Fooler will be one of those runners.
Yes, it will be fascinating to see who comes back for these trials at 350 yards, as they'll step up a little in distance to the Ed Burke Million. It is a quick turnaround,
Yeah.
but there's certainly scope for some of the horses from the kindergarten to reappear, and we'll be eagerly scanning those fields. I'm sure that it'll be a night full of exciting trials a week from Sunday.
Yeah, I can't wait. So a week from this previous show, the next previous show, we'll be talking hopefully about trials for the Edinburgh Million Futurity, the first $1 million Futurity of the season.
And regardless of who wheels back from the kindergarten,
Yeah.
Jose, there's a lot of very promising prospects waiting in the wings that have just come through maiden ranks recently without going into the kindergarten. And so they are going to be fascinating to monitor as well.
Yeah, and the key is that you're going to have a start if you want to run in those trials, right? So we had a lot of those 2-year-olds that didn't necessarily compete in the kindergarten trials wheel back the day after, the week after, somewhere in between. We had a lot of 2-year-olds unleashed there that were specifically getting that start out and that experience to be pointing towards those Edinburgh Million trials in just about a week's time. So there's a lot of interesting talent, like you mentioned, heading into those trials. It should be a fun weekend of racing next week here at Los Al as we analyze all those exciting 2-year-olds. Saturday night, we got 10 races, no stakes event. We do have a very good allowance to end the card. I'll touch base about that race later on in the later segment. But I know you want to keep the ball rolling with the 2-year-olds. And you're going to take us to race number 5. Let's see if we can keep the streak going here, Michael. Who do you like in race number 5?
Yeah, it's a 300-yard 2-year-old maiden. And so we'll try for a 4th straight juvenile winner, a 4th straight first-time starter with links to my winning pick from last week, 5 Bar Supreme. Number 6, Aztecopas, has had 2 workouts for Jaime Gomez and Oscar Peinado. We'll show you both of them. They were both recorded in the same time of 12.6. Very different types of workouts. And I think this horse is ticking over sufficiently to make a debut impact on Saturday night.
Yeah, and we'll go in earlier type. So we'll start with the first workout. And we'll go with the first one. And this one was from April 18th.
Yes.
And Aztecopas was on the outside of this 2-team set.
Yes. Broke straight, ran straight, very professional. You know, I like these 2-year-olds who have a handle on what they're doing. And there's a lot to like about the way he went about his business. And it was a nice, strong gallop out if we can keep it rolling all the way around the turn. And
the main takeaway is, remember, this was the very first workout. And after this, immediately in this workout, he was already very, very professional. That's a big positive when you're making your first published workout like this.
Yes, both of the gate drills have come with blinkers on. And the one we just showed you, he broke from the outside. The following work, he was from the inside versus 5 Bar Cartel, the Lindolfo Diaz trainee, who won for me as our preview show selection last week. Now, this time he's on the inside and he got away okay, and he's matching strides for the first half of the drill with 5 Bar Supreme, but was unable to keep up in the closing stages.
But again, the gallop out, he's very willingly there through the turn. You can see the rider in their tight hold, kind of standing up in the saddle. He still wants to do more.
Well, he does want to do a lot more. He's fighting the jockey all the way around the turn, and he actually gallops out better, stronger than 5 Bar Supreme, who, of course, came out to win last week. Just as an interesting coincidence, on that same morning of April 29, there were 2 other horses in the same gate work. Kevin's Wise Corona outworked Dynast, and both horses came out of that gate work to win races last weekend. So it's the same time for both drills, 12.6, but I like both gallop outs. And this horse, Aztecopas, which means Ace of Cups, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever played cards with the Spanish 21 deck?
No, I haven't.
So they have, instead of clubs, they have copas and spades. So the icons are different than the traditional USA kind of diamonds, hearts, and all that. So as the copas, Ace of Cups in that Spanish playing cards.
Mate, if you can produce a deck the next time we convene at Burgart's after the races, perhaps we can have a little game of something over a drink. That would be interesting for me.
Yes, for sure. I'll get my hands on a Spanish deck of cards, and I'll show it to you for sure.
Now, the makeup of this field is interesting, Jose, because the inside trio, the top three on Ed Burgart's morning line, have each run twice. The second start for each of them was in a trial to the Kindergarten Futurity, and they all ran within 0.01 of the same individual time. Two of the three were in the same trial, finishing right next to each other, and then the other one was in a different trial. But they were very, very similar performances, and obviously they've got the race experience. They've got a bit more grounding than my pick, who is debuting on Saturday night. So certainly respect for each of those horses drawn gates 1, 2, 3. It's an interesting race. There's one other first-time starter. Mm-hmm. And the breeding on the 4, our Blue Duck, would have jumped off the page at you out of the mare Duck Dash and Go, the mum of One Sweet Duck, who was a long shot stakes winner for you just a couple of weeks ago.
And interesting enough, you mentioned that in this race, I already submitted my selections for the night lines before you even told me who your selection was. I went with the 2 first-time starters. I went 4, 6 in the night lines. So I liked our Blue Duck. I liked the winner pedigree. I thought the 1260 workout was pretty good enough for the level of competition, but I also like Hasta Copas as well, just for the same reasons that you talked about. I like the professionalism. I like that he kept up with that workmate 5-bar Supreme through most of that work, and I like both gallop out. So, yes, I know there's experience on the inside 3, but I'm with you. I like the first-time starters here. I like the 4 and the 6 here in race number 5.
Yeah, there's one query that I have on RR Blue Duck, and I'm interested in your take on the fact that there's a 2-month gap between the 2 gate drills. You go from mid or early March to early May, and that tells me that there was presumably some little hiccup. Maybe it was very minor, but to me, RR Blue Duck is maybe coming into this debut with more the equivalent perhaps of 1.5 gate drills, if we can put it that way, because of that 2-month gap. It just gave me cause for pause and made me wonder whether perhaps the horse might just be a little better with this run in the rear vision mirror, so to speak, the rear view mirror. You know, maybe there's just a little bit of improvement to come into start number 2 for this horse.
And, you know, when I went and looked back at when I saw that gap, I was like, I saw that early March drill, March 9th, and I thought maybe this was a horse that were trying to get to the kindergarten. But the fact that they couldn't get this one for whatever reason, maybe this is now a runner that they really want to narrow down for some of the later futurities. And like you mentioned, pedigree's there. Dan was a debut winner. We talked about the One Sweet Duck, the upset winner last week. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a concern. Maybe it was a little setback, but also having that early work maybe told us that they were thinking early on that kindergarten was a spot to be, but unfortunately they did not get there. But look, with the experienced runners, I'm not really in love with anyone. So
I felt the same. They all have exhibited some degree of talent, but they are yet to run an individual time in either of their starts that makes me quake in my boots. You know, I just think that the first-time starters can measure up, and my horse is nicely drawn out wide. The other debutante's in the middle gate, the 4-hole in a field of 7. And it's hard to know what to read into that 2-month gap. It might be absolutely nothing to worry about at all, but it just gave me cause for pause. I have a slight leaning to Hasta Copas. 5-1 is a nice price. And there is a subplot, Jose, a subplot from the Kindergarten Futurity. Okay. When you consider that Hasta Copas goes for Jaime Gomez and Oscar Peinado, who had racy Sweet Corona in the Kindergarten, and RR Blue Duck for Monte Rosa and Armando Cervantes, who beat them narrowly with Double Down Dash or Double Down 1, 2, 3. So I just found that just an interesting coincidental subplot that when you try to evaluate these two debutantes on Saturday night.
Yeah, it sounds like a little bit of a good plot there. And remember, I was all in on Racy Sweet Corona as my lock of the night, and she ran very well, but she was second best to Double Down 1, 2, 3. Now I'm flipping. I'm going to the Monty team. I'm hoping our Blue Duck can redeem that performance here. So I think it's an interesting race to kick off the Pick Six. And again, the Pick Six on Sunday, I think it paid $20,000 if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it was a great way to end the week with that Pick Six. We start a new one here on Saturday night.
Looking forward to the whole weekend at Los Alamitos, as always.
For sure. Michael, thank you for that analysis. I hope you keep the winning streak alive here with Hasta Copas. Next time I see you, I'm going to bring a Spanish deck of cards to show you what I'm talking about.
Beautiful. Cheers, mate.
Racing fans, the traditional $2 Pick Six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a Pick Six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the Pick Six pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a Pick Six carryover or the $10,000 Pick Six promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, including a $274,000 pool on March 11th and a $205,000 pool on January 7th. The traditional $2 Pick Six. A great bet, a great deal. Big-time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos.
Racing!
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos, with one of the biggest nights of the year on Sunday, May 28th. It's the trials to the Ed Burt Million Futurity, featuring the top juveniles in quarter horse racing. And what a great lineup of impressive young runners led by recent winners, Favorite City, Boardwalk, Expensive, Stanley Cartel, and so many more. The Ed Burt Million Trials, Sunday, May 28th. The best of quarter horse racing, always at Los Alamitos.
That's right. Just 1 week away from this weekend that we're recording about, we'll have the trials for the Edinburgh Million Futurity. Welcome back to the program. Now joined by Christopher Wade, your Los Alamitos simulcast analyst there each and every night from the paddock and from Berg Arts as well. First of all, Chris, main takeaways from the kindergarten. What do you think about that race?
Well, it was a great race. You know, the winner was the slowest qualifier.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's no difference. I mean, these horses can improve. These young horses can improve step by step by step. He was 1580 in the trials from the rail, but he's a big-bodied runner, big long strider, and solid connections. Monte Rosa, one from the outside post. The outside's a good place to be in those big races because everybody's on the inside bumping around, having a little bit of trouble. Broke well, clean, finished big, strong. Big effort there. Double down 1, 2, 3. Got the victory there for Monte Rosa and company.
The key was moving from the inside to the outside and improvement. Once that horse got the lead, you can tell he did not want to give up the lead. Racy Sweet Corona tested that one, but that one held the advantage, and she proved to be a very nice winner for Monty and Armando Cervantes, who makes it a three-peat in that same race as they've done it now 3 years in a row. I know one of your horses that watching that race was Just a Fooler. A lot of people were onto him because of his gallop outs on trials night. Well, what about the gallop out on that final, Chris?
Much runners' two prior efforts galloped out very, very strong. Well, this is not normal in quarter horse racing. This horse is not a very big animal, but he wants to go more distance. He wants 350. He wants 400 yards. Very impressive performance. Galloped out very, very strong. If he could ever learn how to get out of the gate, he could be something to watch. He's got a lot of talent. If he can really, really finish, get out a little bit better, he could be something special.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those runners that you can see visually. He's not the largest of his class, but he wants he finishes with a lot of energy. He wants some more distance. We saw it on trials night. We saw it in the final there. So he's maybe a 2-year-old to watch as we get going into longer distances for sure. So we'll see who wheels back from either those trials and the final into next week's Ed Burt Million Futurity trials. Let's talk about Saturday night's card. Mike Wrona gave us a selection in race number 5. And I like you giving us a race number 6. So right off the bat, you guys are going to try to give us 2 legs of the Pick Six, easy money, right? Let's see who we can get here in race number 6, 350 yards. This allowance event. I know you like the looks of the 2-horse here, In Doubt.
Yeah, this is a horse who, in his prior effort, was very, very impressive despite drifting out badly when he broke the maiden. It was very impressive. And he came back off that long layoff of 266 nights, a tough thing to do. And this horse did not get out of the gate very well at all whatsoever, and was very, very impressed with the final half of the affair. Behind horse is locked and loaded. He's a big-bodied animal and needs a clean getaway.
here it is, race 10, allowance. He was in gate 5 in this field of 7. And again, excuse me, she's a filly. She was in gate 5 in this field of 7. This was her first start since July of last year. So this was a significant layoff here for gate number 5.
Yeah, the horse is, like I said, 209 days off, leaned back at the start, lost multiple lengths, was very, very impressive. Behind horses throughout, and was locked and loaded, and finished very, very strong. Big gallop out. This horse got a lot of talent and will definitely improve off that long layoff. The final half of the affair was very impressive, and I think he's got a big look there. And in that effort then on 6 races coming night, with expected improvement and hopefully better getaway.
She was 7-1 in that start, and of course you got to figure that second time off the long layoff will be a positive for her. She is currently the 2-1. She's a 2-1 morning line favorite. Yes, she is. So she's a slight 2-1 morning line favorite in this field of 6, and wheeling right back at 350. It's probably a good spot to be based on that effort, right?
Yeah, you think so? Getting the distance this horse needs, and second time off that long layoff will definitely improve, and just needs a clean getaway to show the ability this one does have.
All right, Chris, I'm not going to let you go without talking about one of our old friends. Let's wheel forward to race number 9. Race number 9, a horse we have both talked about on the show. Here he is again. Terrific Phoenix. He's listed at 8-5 in race number 9. He finished third in that event. Interesting enough, it's the same replay we just showed. And
yes, it is.
In doubt. So let's re-rack the replay. Terrific Phoenix. Did you give him out last time out? I believe so, right? April 22nd?
Yes, I did. I gave him out as a video horse to watch. He's got so much talent, bred top and bottom to be a runner, super connections. He is in post number 4.
Yes. Let's look at this. This was a giant effort in the feet, Chris.
Yes, this horse broke very, very slow, leaned back at the start, back bobbled and was bumped back, lost multiple lengths. He's so far back. Yeah, he's the Catella Deli right now. He's so far back. And watch him angle off
to the outside.
And watch him angle off for clearance. Look at the gallop, the finish this horse has in the gallop. I was so impressive. He gets up for third after all that trouble.
Look at that. And he's going to gallop out, even though he's 5, 6, 7 wide there, he's still galloping out with the winners. So if he can ever break, Chris, he deserves another win in his resume.
Yes, he certainly does. He's got so much talent. Like I said, he's out of that terrific energy broodmare's drop. Nothing but runners. And this one is that. He's a troubleful run deluxe times 10. Every single start except for the one where he broke his maiden, he's had that much trouble. And he's got a ton of talent. All he needs is just a decent getaway. If he breaks a length with the field, he's tough to beat.
And look at this. Not only is he closing in with big strikes, he's closing in with big strikes into a 9.6 final eighth, which is not easy to do. I mean, closing by yourself 9.6, it's pretty impressive on its own right. But when you're closing into that and making up ground, it just tells you the kind of ability he has. But he's his own worst enemy at the gate. We've seen it before. We saw it again right there. And we see it in the running lines. Off very slowly, rough start, stumble start, awkward start. If he can ever put it together, he will be plenty tough. He's in gate 2. He's 8-5 on Eddie Berger's morning. He deserves to be the favorite. I'm not going to quit on him, Chris. I can't quit on him now. I think at this point, I just got to ride the wave until he gets the win. Yeah, you got to give me. Like, this is like the third time in a row I've said one more time. Yes. And here we are. I'm not going to give up because he's obviously got plenty of ability. And it's not like anyone is a real true rocket ship out of this gate in this field. Maybe this is the field that he's looking for. So I'm going to give him one more shot and see how it goes there with Terrific Phoenix. Let's hope that was a strong race. Yes, for sure. So that's race number 9, a 350-yard event. Chris will give Terrific Phoenix one more shot, and also remember in race number 6, he's going with In Doubt, who exits that same race that we just showed you there, out on April 22nd. We were talking about Remington Park Signal last week because they canceled, I believe, Thursday, and then they moved Thursday to Monday, which was part of those 2-day trials. But it was a wet track pretty much throughout the weekend, if I remember correctly. So a lot of wet weather down there. And I know they're going to be looking forward to getting some dry weather for those finals in just a couple of weeks. In the meantime, are you tackling any other simulcast signals for this week here for the Nightlights?
With the previous running, Sam Houston and Remington Park are running rather early.
Sure.
So we're only handling, we're doing races 3 through 9 at Delta Downs, and we got a couple of nice video horses there to watch. So probably help you out along with on the Los Alamitos website with our selections. And of course, the Nightline program try to help you out with those selections from Delta Downs this Saturday night.
Sounds good. Thank you for that update, Chris. And best of luck with your selections this week in Down in terrific Phoenix. Let's see if we can get a winner this upcoming week at Los Al. I'll see you out there this Saturday. Have a good week. Talk to you next week.
All right, boss. You have a good night.
Racing fans, the traditional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a pick six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the pick six pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a pick six carryover or the $10,000 pick six promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, including a $274,000 pool on March 11th and a $205,000 pool on January 7th. The traditional $2 pick six, a great bet, a great deal, big time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos.
Racing!
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos, with one of the biggest nights of the year on Sunday, May 28th. It's the trials to the Ed Burt Million Futurity, featuring the top juveniles in quarter horse racing. And what a great lineup of impressive young runners led by recent winners, Favorite City, Boardwalk, Expensive, Stanley Cartel, and so many more. The Ed Burt Million Trials, Sunday, May 28th. The best of quarter horse racing, always at Los Alamitos.
Welcome back. Let's talk about a few more races and horses that I think could be interesting here on this Saturday night program at Los Alamitos. Again, 10 races on Saturday night. And we're going to first take a look at race number 4. Race number 4, the closing leg of that early pick 4. It's a horse that I've been waiting to see back in the entry box. Race number 4, 1,000 yards, conditional claiming tag of 60-50 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won a race at 1,000 yards. I'm looking at Betito. Betito was my lock of the night back on November 13th, back when he was ended up going off at 5-2 in that field of 5. He showed pretty good speed that race, which that's why I was betting on him that night on November 13th, because I thought he was going to be a lot more 40 placed based on his troubled start from one outing prior to that, which was October 22nd. Because he had shown pretty good speed at Fresno and at Golden Gate and in Northern California. I thought he was going to unleash more speed, which he did, but he dueled every step of the way, faded to third, but still held on to a very nice effort, given that he finished behind a couple of repeat winners in Highly Distorted and Liar. Now, he went and raced against the daytime competition in December, and he was overmatched. He was 104-1. He broke slow, never a factor in that spot. He's been freshening up since December, so he's had quite a few time off, but he lands a field without a ton of definite proven speed other than Tiz Indy. And maybe you can argue that Exalting on the outside, who also exits that November 13 race, could show some speed as well. But there's not a ton of proven speed outside of Tiz Indy, who's going up in class. And then the question is, how close can my Dominator, the 3-horse, coming in from Santa Anita and Golden Gate, how close can he stay to the lead early on for Jonathan Wong and Serapa Figueroa? So I'm going to bet that Betito could be very sharp off the layoff, could be aggressively ridden from the rail by Jesse Gonzalez, and hopefully we'll catch a nice price there in the closeout leg of the early pick 4. I'm going with Betito, 5-1 for Robert Lucas. Moving over towards race number 7, as a reminder, in race 5, Mike Wrona gave us As the Copas. Race number 6, Christopher Wade gave us In Doubt. And then in race number 7, 300-yard maiden event, I think this is a spot for Tricks Up My Sleeve to get that maiden win tonight. He's lightly raced. I like the way that he showed improved gate speed last time out. Yes, he had a pretty good lead and he got caught late, but it was only his second start. His individual clock of 15:73 is about as good as anyone has done in this spot. We see a couple of 15:79s for Rio's Renegade. But if Tricks Up My Sleeve can keep gradually improving like he did from his first race to the second race and improve on that gate speed, to me, this is the horse to beat in race number 7. Going to make him my lock of the night. And we get one of the all-time greats here at Los Angeles, Rodrigo Aceves, who's been not only one of the all-time greats overall, but also he's been a terrific gate rider throughout his career. He really gets horses tends to break well under them, tends to keep them straight. So I think Tricks Up My Sleeve is in a great spot to get that maiden diploma in race number 7 as the 5-2 shot there to kick off the late pick 4. Speaking of the late pick 4, we're going to close out that late pick 4 sequence with a quarter horse allowance event in race number 10. Got a couple of horses to highlight here. First, we'll stick with Just Another Cartel for Leslie Joyner and Paul Jones, 350-yard allowance. Last time out, on March 26th, he was right around right under 5-2, so 2-1, almost 5-2 in that spot, and he was in gate number 3 in this field. And let's watch this replay here. Gate number 3, Just Another Cartel, and watch the start here. As he's gonna break a bit slow, gets shuffled back here in between horses, loses his path, alters to the outside of the eventual winner and the favorite Look Up. But watch how he's finishing here with pretty good interest here. That's Just Another Cartel, inching towards the leader, and just cannot, finish that one because of the great start that Look Up had. But I like the way he finished. And again, that was 330 yards for Just Another Cartel. And the key is that tonight he's getting a little bit of extra yardage. He's getting 350 yards. So Just Another Cartel, if he can break a little bit cleaner tonight, you can keep that inside path, I think he's going to be plenty tough. One of the main contenders for sure in race number 10 to close out the program. Another horse to highlight is the 8-5 morning favorite Fortune Corona, who's making his first start since the Los Alamitos Winter Derby. Not of this year, but of the previous year, back in 2022. He has not been seen for a while. So that is one of the main concerns here for him. But you look at his resume. He was a qualifier to the Golden State Million Futurity, and he was a qualifier to the Los Alamitos Winter Derby back in his 2021 and 2022 seasons. Now he's in the barn of Valentin Zamudio for SNS Horses. And I want to show here the workout that he's recently posted here in preparation. Well, one of the workouts that he posted here in preparation for tonight's comeback effort. There's going to be April 1st, Fortune Corona, a solo workout. And he's now a 4-year-old. You can see he breaks fairly well. Good acceleration out of the gate. And the rider is pretty quiet here, just encouraging him, but he's doing a lot of things on his own. Look how he's gliding over the track. This ended up posting a fast bullet workout of 12 flat for the 220 yards. And look at the gallop out. It's as strong as a gallop out as you're going to see for a layoff horse like this. So fast work, best of 17 workouts, good gallop out, ears are up. He did a lot of it on his own without the rider emptying the tank. So he looks very, very fresh. And he looks like he's freshened up and ready to go off the layoff. So he's going to be tough to beat in that race number 10, the closeout race of the card. Fortune Corona listed at 8-5 on Ed Burghart's morning line. So we can argue that he's probably has the gate speed to flee from the outside post, and will give Just Another Cartel the closing kick if he can break cleanly from the inside post. So those two runners are probably where I would say where the winner of this race will come from. We can't forget that Straw Finest Corona just defeated Insider last time out. He did it from the outside post. Now he's got to do it in between horses, but that was a sharp win. You can't deny that he looked sharp there, winning by half a length under Juan Pablo Leon. So that's a look at the Saturday program there for Los Alamitos Racecourse. And thank you for Michael Wrona and Christopher Wade for joining us. And I hope you join us here at Los Alamitos, not only for the live racing this upcoming Saturday and Sunday. We'll get ready for the Edinburgh Million Trials in just a week's time from this program. And also, if you want to catch the Preakness action and all the simulcast action from around the country, Burghart's and the Vessels Club will be opening up early this weekend for the simulcast action. You can head out over to losalamitos.com for all the information about hours opening and how you can call in and reserve a table if you would like to do so there at the Vessels Club and at Burghart's. Professor G is out on a special assignment, so he's not going to join us, but he did leave us with a great look at last week's Kindergarten Futurity. Here's a video. Enjoy, and we'll catch you here next weekend at Los Alamitos.
Racing. Chosen one, Hot puts it out of the gate with Brindisi and Racy Sweet Corona double down, 1, 2, 3, and then think again. Kev, it's Racy Sweet Corona double down, 1, 2, 3, and a photo. Looks to be double down, 1, 2, 3.
What makes this race one that you shoot for?
I like the fillies, and Bonnie's always said that they mature faster and stuff, so we kind of shoot for that, and we've had good luck in the last 2 years, and so we just like the fillies and kind of shoot early because they mature a little faster.
That's right. The last 3 years, each one of them has been a filly.
Yeah, exactly. So we've been 8th, 6th, and now 10th fastest qualifier. Right. So it's all worked out pretty good.
So is it all coming together for a broodmare ban? With these fillies in the
yeah, we're trying to. We've got a few babies coming out of Firefast Honey for next year, and then Valiantly, that's in the future, and then now this one, of course. So we're excited.
I think the break was the key and the post position was the key. We snuck into this race. We're the 10th qualifier. We liked this filly all along. But when she drew the 10 hole, I felt pretty good. I didn't know if we could win it or not, but I thought she could be real competitive because I figured she could stay out of traffic there, not getting any, hopefully any bumping. A lot of credit to Armando. He puts the time in the morning, and he rode a great race, and very, very thankful for him. Glad he's on our team.
Racing fans, the traditional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a pick six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the pick six pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a pick six carryover or the $10,000 pick six promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, including a $274,000 pool on March 11th and a $205,000 pool on January 7th. The traditional $2 pick six, a great bet, a great deal, big time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos.
Racing!
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos, with one of the biggest nights of the year on Sunday, May 28th. It's the trials to the Ed Burt Million Futurity, featuring the top juveniles in quarter horse racing. And what a great lineup of impressive young runners led by recent winners, Favorite City, Boardwalk, Expensive, Stanley Cartel, and so many more. The Ed Burt Million Trials, Sunday, May 28th. The best of quarter horse racing, always at Los Alamitos.
Burns Ranch is proud to welcome two-time AQHA champion Golden Boy. He joins multiple stakes winner MP Shining, whose first crop are yearlings, and California champion Middle Error, with foals arriving this year. Proven stallions include Separate Interest, off to a good start in 23.
Delight Interest trying to fend him off. Delight Interest comes through with the clutch.
And Fly Through the Fire, a top 3 ranked second crop sire. Let Burns Ranch put you in the game.